Can you hear me okay? Oh. Can you hear me okay?
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
Uh, can you hear me now?
I hear you.
Okay, but I can't hear you.
Let me get my headphones.
Okay.
Can you hear me now? Is that better? Ayanda? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, Ayanda? Can you hear me? Ayanda, can you hear me now? Oh, okay, good. I'm going to send Kellen the invitation to join our group then.
Okay.
Just gonna copy and paste his email here.
Are you able to hear me?
I do, I hear you now.
Yay. Okay, awesome.
There we go. All right, I just sent him the invitation. I'm just gonna message him on Facebook, let him know that I sent him the invite too.
Okay, cool. What are their names again?
I don't know his wife's name. I only know his name, and his name's Kellen Nelson. Okay, so you're going to take notes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I locked myself in my room, so hopefully my kids will leave me alone. Logan, go away, bud. I'm on the phone.
Right on cue.
Right. I had a, oh, here we go. Pen.
Yeah, but I liked the one that you sent for the other meeting that we had. And I'm thinking just so that we
Oh,
can have
good.
a and I'll use like the same type of format and the same language.
Yeah. Hi, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. My partner here, Ayanda, she lives in South Africa, so it's like 4 o'clock in the morning her time.
That's dedication.
Yes. We are having some technical difficulties, but I think we've got them all figured out now.
Okay.
So how are you guys doing? I haven't met your wife, Kellen.
Yes, this is
What
Alan.
is her? Nice to meet you, Allie.
Thanks.
Nice to meet you, Ellie.
Oh, thanks, you too.
So I was just pulling up all the right forms. Sorry about the delay. We had some technical difficulties. We were having trouble hearing each other, but it looks like we've got it all figured out now. I'm glad you guys are familiar with Google Hangout and you guys know how to use it.
Yeah.
So let's just go ahead and get started. So your wife's name is Allie, and you're Kellen. And what are you guys' ages?
So I'm 23.
And I'm 22.
Perfect. I'm going to try to separate my screens here. I'm doing split screen so I can see my other notes. Here we go. Oh, darn it. Sorry about this. Okay, here we go. And you guys are both LDS, obviously.
Yep.
So what do you guys do for work?
So I'm a tutor at the school. I teach 3 different accounting courses there.
Wow. And what about you, Allie?
I work at Florence's Candy.
Florence's Candy. That sounds like a fun job.
Yeah, it is. And I just do retail there.
Nice. Are you guys both, I know, Kellen, you're going to school. Are you going to school, Allie?
Yeah, my major is psychology.
Nice. Very similar to Ayanda and I's major.
What is your major?
We're doing marriage and family studies.
Okay.
Yeah. So you might get to do a project like this too, maybe. So tell us a little bit about your educational history.
Me?
Both of you.
Okay. Well, of course, I went to high school and everything in New Jersey. And then after high school, I came out here and did a year of school, and then I went on my mission, came back, finished my associate's degree just in generals, and now I'm doing psychology.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Kellen?
So after high school, I went to Salt Lake Community College for a year and got my associates there. And then one of my mission came back and started here at BYU, Idaho. And I just have a semester left.
Yay, that's so exciting.
Yep, getting down to it.
I just have 1 semester left too. And Ayanda, I think you do too, right?
Also, just 1 more semester and then I'm done.
Yeah. How much longer do you have to go, Allie?
About 3 semesters.
Yeah, 3.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
And where did you serve your mission, Ellie?
What was that?
Where did you serve your mission?
Oh, we both served in Roseville, California.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That's how you guys met?
That's how we met.
Yeah. My husband and I met when we were missionaries as well. So
Oh, really?
yeah. Obviously, there's
awesome.
like a whole backstory, but yeah, it's cool that you guys met there as well.
That's cool.
Kellen was serving his mission in the city where I used to live. And was it in Orland or was it in Chico that I met you?
It was Orland.
Orland, yeah. And he looks just like my little brother. It's really weird. He really does. It's trippy.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So, why don't you guys talk about your occupational history a little bit? I know you guys told us what you currently do, but what have you guys done in the past?
For sure.
Yeah. So I had my first job when, after my first year of college, before I left on my mission. And I worked at Sonic as a car hop. And then went on my mission, came back and got a job at Snowasis here in Rexburg. And then after a while, a new owner came in and he like let go all of the new employees. So then I got a job at Soda Vine here in Rexburg, and I worked there for about a year. And then I got a job as a caregiver. Worked there for about a month or so. Can't remember, I think maybe 2 months. And I don't know. And but it wasn't for me, and that's when I switched to Florence's.
Nice. And what about you, Kellen?
So my first job was at a grocery store, Macy's, back in Utah. I worked there through high school and for my mission, after my mission a little bit, just whenever I was home. So for about 3 years. And then, yeah. So I went to Avant Garde. It's like a security monitoring place here in town. I answered like life alert button calls and dispatched 911. And then I started tutoring, and I just had a part-time job at Port of Subs, the sandwich place. But I just tutor now.
Nice. And what kind of interests and hobbies do you guys have?
Good question. Well, I love animals and cats especially, and we rollerblade together sometimes.
Rollerblading, that's fun.
Yeah.
Try to rollerblade.
I feel.
Do you have any other interests, Kellen?
Yeah, really just kind of learning new things or studying, and we enjoy watching a TV show together or just exploring new music. I'd say are some of our biggest hobbies.
Cool. What kind of music are you guys interested in?
Kind of like indie rock, blues rock, stuff like that.
I don't even know if I know what indie rock is. Maybe I would know it if I heard it.
Yeah, it's just what rock is today, I guess. Kind of just bringing in different instruments that are maybe more non-traditional.
I see. So let's talk about your guys' family of origin. So like your mom and dad, brothers and sisters. Why don't you guys each kind of take a turn talking about, you know, your families that you were raised in and kind of the, I don't know, the climate of your home and just the relationships a little bit.
Okay. So I grew up with my mom and dad, and I have a twin sister and 2 younger brothers. Yep, twin sisters. That's pretty cool. I feel like the climate because of that was a little competitive at times, where we were constantly trying to like outperform each other or vie for my parents' attention. And then my 2 younger brothers were pretty close because me and my twin were really close, so they just kind of formed a close relationship. And since then, my twin sister's gotten married, just had a baby, and my older youngest brother is on a mission in Washington.
So would you say that you're still close with your family even though you live far away from them? Because you do, right? Your family lives in Utah, right?
Yeah, they live in Utah, and we're here in Idaho. So yeah, we're still close, and we go down and we visit often. My family's, I guess, a little unique compared to some where we don't talk like daily or sometimes even weekly, but it's not like we try to avoid talking to each other. That's just kind of the norm. And so that same kind of relationship has still existed, like even though we're in different states.
That's good. I mean, that's a sign that you guys are, you know, you have like a good connection, and I think that is probably more normal than you think.
Yeah.
When you live far away, yeah, it's hard to stay connected, but that's good. Did you say, or would you say that your parents had like a pretty healthy marriage, like good modeling for you?
Yeah, I always looked up to them in the roles that they filled. And as I grew older, I think just like anyone else, I became a little more aware of they're human too and they have downfalls and they are perfect all the time. But even those things, I feel like I was able to really learn from.
That's a good attitude, actually. So what about you, Allie? What about your family?
So, mine's a little different than his, where my parents got divorced when I was 4 years old. So my sister and I, we were both born in Tennessee. And then my sister's older than me. She's a year and a day older than I am. And when I was 4 years old, my parents divorced, and my mom, my sister, and I all moved to New Jersey. And so it's kind of more of a different dynamic than most people. So I would visit my dad in the summer, during Christmas, and during spring break.
And did your parents ever remarry?
Yeah, they both remarried. They've both been married for, I don't know, over like around 14 or 15 years now.
Are your parents both LDS?
Yes.
Yes. And then did they like stay active in the church and all that even after the divorce?
So my dad did, but my mom fell away for a few years and she married a non-Mormon. But then after a while, she realized that it's important to keep going to church and to get back and become active again. And so my stepdad actually ended up joining the church, and now they're both really strong and active in the church again.
That's great. Would you say that they modeled, since you lived with your mom and stepdad most of the time, would you say that they had a positive marriage and they were a good example for you?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Good. Is there anything else you guys would like to share about your families of origin?
I don't think so. I think it covers it pretty well.
All right, good. So talk to us about your relationship. I know you guys said you met on your mission, and how did that whole thing go down?
So it was actually after I left Orland, I went to Loomis down by Lincoln, and Allie was already there serving in a Lincoln ward. And like Lincoln and Loomis are far enough apart where the missionaries would never really see each other. And so the first month and a half around each other, we didn't even say a word to each other, didn't acknowledge each other. Like it wasn't even, hey sister, how's the work in your ward? Like there just wasn't any communication. But then we had this zone meeting, and I was the zone leader at the time, so I was leading and teaching. And I just talked about how the missionaries felt like, well, the zone wasn't like super unified, and the missionaries were individually struggling, but everyone thought the zone was doing well. And so we just talked about like how we're individually feeling about our missionary efforts. And I just remember getting kind of emotional about some missionaries' responses as to how they were struggling or feeling that they were wasting the Lord's time. And that's when Allie started to notice me, and she eventually got transferred out of that zone and went up to Reading, and I got transferred there as well, and that's where I ended my mission. And so we got to do like service projects together, and I would just learn about like her interests, her family, just kind of making small talk as we're working on things. I just remember like feeling confident and comfortable around her and kind of seeing similarities. And so I got home 3 months before she got home. And so I was just working, and I applied to go up here to BYU, Idaho, and she came up here as well. And we just started dating like as soon as she got home.
So did you guys stay in communication then after you left, or did you just like run into each other? Or?
Yeah, after I left, she had emailed me when I got home, and we kept talking from there. And I knew she was going up here before her mission, so that was a pretty big influencer to wanting to go here as well. I really felt something there. So yeah, when she got home, she actually came up for my sister's wedding and was a part of it, and that was our first date.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
A pretty non-traditional first date. But
Yeah, I was a bridesmaid.
So how long did you guys date before you were married?
we dated for a while.
We got home in February, started dating then, and then got married the following April.
Yeah, so a little over a year. Like our engagement was about 8 months.
Yeah, so I think we dated officially like 14 months before we got married.
Well, that's okay. But you know, Mormons always have these really short courtships, but it's good to get to know each other.
Yeah.
So then you guys were married in the temple,
Mm-hmm.
and so then how long have you guys been married now?
Almost 6 months.
Wow, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you feel about marriage? Is it like what you expected it to be? Is it different? Is it harder? Is it easier?
I think for me, it's pretty much what I expected, if not better, because I mean, I knew it was going to be amazing. I don't know. I knew it would be this awesome. I don't know. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I feel like we transitioned into it pretty well because when we were dating here, like we just spent all day together. Like we'd wake up, go to each other's apartments, and then head to class. And then afterwards, we'd hang out and do homework together. And by the time it was curfew, like I'd drop her off and I'd go home. And we would shop together, we'd cook together, we just spent a lot of time communicating, getting to know each other. And so we just kind of established some of those things that you would do in marriage anyway. Once we got there, we understood like, oh, this is how this person lives their life. This is the foods they like. This is how they shop. This is how they budget. And so I think a lot of that stress for a lot of newlyweds wasn't there for us because of that.
Oh, good. So what kind of challenges do you feel like you guys might be facing right now then? It sounds like things are going pretty good, but do you feel like there's any challenges that you guys are facing?
I think communication, just like in any relationship, can be hard, especially once you spend like all day around each other. It's kind of like a balance of when to talk about something, when to just like give them time alone, when to talk about something, just talk about something, or to like have a serious conversation. I think if anything, maybe that.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think all couples struggle with that, and especially with you guys being newlyweds, it's all just, even though you guys dated for so long, you're still probably learning about each other, and communication is, you know, everybody has their own likes and dislikes and ways of doing things, so that's always a challenge. Even, you know, people married for 50 years, I'm sure it's still a challenge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other challenges that you guys would say you're facing?
I mean, I don't know if I'd call it a challenge, but it's been kind of hard for us to like branch out and find other people that we can hang out with like together.
Mm-hmm.
We we've like had people over here, and we've had like game nights with them, and like had them over for dinner and different things. But it's just kind of been a struggle since getting married to find people that we can mutually hang out with. So it's not like a bad thing, but we spend just all of our time together rather than with like other couples or things like that.
So branching out your social life. Do you feel like since you guys have been married that you've kept like your friends that you had before you were married, or do you feel like since you've been married you've sort of like lost connections with some of the people that you were friends with before?
Well, for me personally, like ever since I came home from my mission, it was all about Kellen. So before we were married, I don't feel like I had like a really strong like group of friends, and because like he was like the person I would hang out with all the time, and I had roommates and things and people I worked with. So I don't know, just like once we got married, it was kind of the same thing where like he's the only one I hang out with, so I don't want to say I don't have any friends. It's like my friend, and I guess before the mission, I had a lot of friends where I would hang out with them all the time, and we'd have like game nights or just get together and do something. But then after I came home, started dating him, those kind of like dwindled off.
I think a lot of it's like the culture here too. Like it's easy to find friends when you're like not married or single in a college town, but once you're married, like people don't want to annoy you, or you suddenly have a lot more responsibility, and so you can't just like drop everything and go out with them. And so we can still communicate with those people that we knew, but it can just become more challenging. And even once some of those people have gotten married, they just kind of have their own apartment and world and jobs and hours. So it just kind of puts more of a strain on that relationship, I guess.
I see. Just trying to brainstorm in my head. So the reason we're asking you about these challenges is because we're going to be, the next question I'm asking you about is like to come up with some learning goals. And from the learning goals, we're going to develop our learning material for the follow-up sessions that we'll do with you guys. And so we might have to think about that one. You're wanting more social connections with other couples is what I'm hearing, right?
Yeah, it's not like a huge need for us, but it's something that we desire and talk about. So.
Okay. We can probably think on that and see if we can figure out something. Are there any other challenges that you guys might be facing or anything like that?
I think with both of us going to school and working, it can also be like stress management. And well, I might be stressed because I have a big assignment due, but then Allie's also stressed with the assignment she has due. So I like want to support her, help her. But if I do that, then I give up time on my assignment, like my stress increases, and it's like, how do we balance that while still supporting each other, like in our marital roles?
Right, and even just like, supporting your own like identity as an individual while like trying to be unified as a couple.
Yeah.
Would you say that you guys feel like you're like developing your home like you want to? Like, you guys both went on missions, and so obviously you have so much knowledge about the gospel, but do you feel like you're bringing it together? Like, are you guys having family home evening every week? Are you guys doing your couples scripture study together and things like that? Do you feel like that's coming together okay, or is it still kind of an adjustment period?
I'd say it's still an adjustment too. Like we're the ward gospel doctrine teachers, and we're the only ones for the ward. And so we spend time preparing lessons together and teaching. But then we've also found that if we don't establish, prayer and scripture study and family home evening, then we quickly take a back burner behind like all that we've got as students.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's something that we do struggle with because we pray like before we eat or before we go on a big road trip. But I think we do struggle with reading our scriptures together and praying together, having family home evening. I think that's something that we would benefit from learning more about and just how to fit that in our schedules.
All right. Do you guys feel like you guys are doing well with your like merging your financial lives? Or do you feel like you guys could use any help in learning about like how to communicate better about finances or how to plan? I know you're an accounting major, Kellen, but it's always different when you're working with somebody else, and it's always just kind of you've been on your own.
Yeah, like I feel we manage finances pretty well. I'll just make sure all the bills are paid and like a budget's made. And if one of us wanted to go out and spend like any more than just kind of an ordinary amount on something, we always run it by each other, make sure we aren't spending like hundreds of dollars without the other person knowing. And I feel like we communicate pretty well about all that. That wasn't too big of an adjustment for us, I don't think.
Oh, good. That's good. You guys are doing well then, because a lot of people do struggle with that. It's like the leading cause of problems in marriage.
Yeah.
So that's good that you guys are doing well with that.
Very financially minded, where I'm not, so I've learned a lot from them.
That's good. I know they say that in every marriage there's usually a saver and a spender. I'm the spender. So so let's talk about some learning goals then. You guys have said that you would definitely like some help with like learning how to just kind of adjust socially to married life, you know, whether it be through getting to know more couples, and then even maybe just with coping skills and dealing with, you know, being a little more isolated at this point in your life, you know, because, you know, like I hear that you guys have tried to find other couples and you guys are doing something about it, but, you know, nothing has really changed so far. So, like, would coping skills be helpful at all with that? Sometimes, like, problems won't go away, and so we have to learn how to, like, manage them, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd be interested in learning about that.
Okay. And then I know you guys are young and, you know, you just got married, but would learning about parenting skills at all be something that you'd be interested in? Don't feel like you have to say yes. It's just something I'm throwing out there as an option.
It wouldn't hurt, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we always think and talk about, so there's no harm in learning how to prepare.
Okay, well, that's a possibility then. I'm thinking that maybe for now, we might just give you guys some ideas, and maybe we'll do a follow-up like email with the concrete learning goals that we'll use to develop our learning sessions on. So we'll probably, the goal is to have 4, but we may have more than 4 tonight. So let's see, what other learning goals would you guys have? I'm trying to think what.
I think you guys mentioned communication, right? That was something that you.
Yeah, communication's a good one.
And then Kellen, you also mentioned stress management and just how to balance everything, being a student and working and being married and all of that, right?
Yeah.
Stress management, yeah, right. And communication. Would you feel like you guys would benefit from conflict management skills?
Yeah. I mean, we don't get in like many conflicts or arguments, but I think that ties in like really well with both stress and communication.
Mm-hmm. And oh man, I just lost my thought. Communication, stress management. Oh, have you guys learned about the love languages at all?
Yeah, we've taken the test, and well, that's about the extent of it.
Would you guys be interested in learning any more about that?
Yeah.
Those I feel like are important, especially when your time is limited and you're busy. It's always really good to know exactly how your partner, you know, feels loved, because if you're doing something that doesn't express love to them, then it's almost a waste of your time, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many is that, Ayanda? I haven't been writing this down.
We've got 5. So the social adjustment to marriage and the coping skills with that, communication, conflict management, and so that's the second one. The third one is stress management and like prioritizing everything. And then you guys also mentioned that you would be interested in learning a little bit more about scripture study and how to factor that into your married life as well. And then I've got a question mark on parenting.
Yeah, we'll think about that. That'll be probably on the low priority list.
So we've got 4 that we can use for now that can be able to establish something to help or to work with you guys on.
Great.
So we talked to our professor today, and we found out that we need to have all of our lesson plans like completely approved before we follow up with you guys. So it will probably be a couple weeks before we're able to meet up with you again. But after our lesson plans get approved, or at least with the first one or first 2, then we'll email you or message you and let you know that that's done, and try to schedule our first session with you guys. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right, good. Well, thanks for meeting up with us. It was really great, like meeting you, Allie, and seeing you again, Kellen.
Yeah, it was nice seeing you too. And it was nice meeting you.
Thanks
Thank
for being
you
a part of it.
guys.
So we'll let you guys go ahead and oh, sorry, Ayanda.
No, I'm saying thank you for your time and your willingness to participate in this. I really like how united you guys are. It's so awesome. So thank you for everything.
No problem. Thanks for getting up at 4 in the morning for this.
No problem.
So we'll let you guys go ahead and take off, and Ayanda and I are going to stay on for a few more minutes.
Okay.
Great.
Sounds good.
Well,
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
All right. Have a good evening.
Hello. That went pretty well.
That went very, very well. Yeah, I really like the questions that you were asking and things like that. I think the one thing that I personally didn't anticipate is like they seem like there's nothing wrong going on in their life. Okay, so how do we find ways to help them? Yeah, just one of the like ones where they don't have issues and things like that. The only issue that I could pick on but didn't want to like ask about is do you think that they may be like too enmeshed together that they might struggle to have their own individual identities because they've been together for such a long time, not a long time, but you know what I'm trying to say. For the period of time that they've been dating and together, it seems like their whole world has revolved around each other, and that might also be affecting why they're not able to form adequate social interaction with others because they're just like this one unit.
Yeah, I kind of was thinking that too. I kind of remember that when I first got married too, it was like kind of hard because I felt like, well, in the town that I was in, there wasn't like a very big LDS population. It was really uncommon to be married so young, and so I kind of can identify with them a little bit because I remember that it was like really hard to adjust to that because I felt like I had a lot of male friends too, and so that was like after you get married, it's like not really appropriate to hang out with other male friends, so I felt like I didn't really have a lot of friends after I got married, and it's kind of isolating, I guess. And so yeah, we could maybe work that into our into one of our lessons. Like I know that they were wanting like more social interaction with other couples. So, and it seemed like they were trying. So it's sort of like, I don't know what other skills we could give them as far as like meeting people. But we could talk about like you know, maybe some activities that they could do with other couples, like, or to do where they would meet other couples, like maybe join a bowling league or go dancing, like, you know, or I don't know, something like that. It sounds like they are trying though, and it just hasn't really worked out. So I think like because of where they live and because like probably every married couple that's around them goes to college too, they're all probably just really busy. So it's like, and they're all probably kind of in the same stage of life where like they just kind of want to be with their spouse at this point, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. But I think
So
it's cool that they're very nice. Like they want to communicate with other people, and they want to um, so it's not like they are like deliberately like saying, okay, we just want to be by ourselves and we're going to lock ourselves in the room and in this little bubble. They want to and have been trying to reach out to other people. But like you said, it is a little bit of a struggle because they're all in the same stage trying to make life happen. So it's not easy um, to be social when everyone's also trying to accomplish things as well.
right. Yeah, I just don't know how we could like try to plan a lesson around that.
Yeah, I don't know. If we were to do a lesson about socialization, I don't know what lesson we could do that includes things that they haven't already tried to do.
Right.
But what I did like from what you shared or what you picked up on is social interaction is one thing, but also just like it includes the whole process of adjusting to married life and
Mm-hmm.
and the coping skills that come with that. So maybe we could be able to build a lesson around that and then just have like the socialization be a part of that. But the main thing be coping skills after like that.
Yeah, we could do that, and we could work into that, like coping with kind of being more isolated, coping with not having time for yourself, and like trying to make time for yourself and make time for your marriage and make time for everything else you have going on, you know. Trying to think, like, I don't know. We'll have to figure that one out.
Yeah.
So then, what were the other ones that we talked about?
The other one was communication, and then we spoke about conflict management, and then the love languages. I don't know if we want to include the love languages in communication or in the coping skills, um, but that's something that they said that they would appreciate help with.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if we can use any of the ones that we're already going to be planning for the other couple, because I know like if we were doing the workshop one, we'd only need to prepare 4 workshops, you know. Obviously they don't have all the same issues, but I'm wondering if like we can do sort of the keeping the romance alive thing and conflict management, and so we have like for Courtney and Mike, we have one on prioritizing things like love, the gospel, and time.
Mm-hmm.
And we could maybe work some of that into like adjusting to married life, you know?
Yeah, and I like that because then that would also we could also that would be perfect because that's one lesson plan that we can do for both instead of having her try to approve 8 lesson plans. I don't know when we would be done with that. So if there are things that we can use for both, that would be awesome. And I think that one would be perfect. I know with the prioritizing one for Courtney and Mike, we also mentioned like having a gospel centered home. So I don't know if we want to do like the scripture study and include that in there as well. But my only problem with that is we already have so little to work with them that if we take the scripture study one, then we're like a lesson short for them.
Right. Well, I think that, so if we do like the keeping the romance alive one, I think we can probably tweak that for them, because even though right now they're newlyweds and so their romance is very alive, you know, like it's probably very, very alive. But, you know, they are, like, Kellen's going to be graduating in 1 semester, and then he's probably going to start working full-time, and she's going to be done with school in another year after that. And you think about it, like, they're in very similar places right now, but in 1 more semester, they're going to be in very different places because he's going to be out working and she's going to still be in school. And so it could be that, you know, they need to learn about that. Not to mention that even if right now things are good, time in their life where they need to know some of these things, you know, like even if their love is very alive right now, like probably another year or 2, and once babies start coming, like it's going to be different. And so just having these tools to help prepare them is a good thing, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the learning goals necessarily have to be like completely based off of their challenges. Like obviously if they're having challenges and we want to address them, but if they're not having challenges, well then we can at least give them tools for a time when they do, you know.
I like that. Yeah, absolutely. Like that's so true. And I mean, especially, I think you've learned this as well. We're doing the same major. With every class that we've taken, it doesn't mean that we've had problems, or personally, like it doesn't mean that I've had problems when I was doing that particular course. Like let's say the money management one, I may not have had money problems when I was doing it, but learning those skills helped me remember. Like when I was struggling with finances, I would be like, oh yes, I remember I learned this, and I can go back and review it. And my husband a couple of weeks ago took that parenting book, the 10 principles of successful parenting, and he was like, this book is so awesome, it's so nice. And you know, we were able to share together and discuss that, whereas beforehand, I think when I was doing that course, I was pregnant with our first child. So you know, it's just such with our second child, sorry, but it's such a different dynamic now, where it wasn't an issue then, but it's something that we can review and something that we can use now. So,
Yeah. So I think like, you know, like, so I think, okay, so I think we should do one class on conflict management, because I think we can talk about, like, we could talk about the Gottman's, like, 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and we could talk about, like, I have this video that I could probably go over, like, there's this whole method of conflict management that Brother Gardner taught about. And I don't even remember, I can watch I like saved the video so I can view it again, but it's like from some school, like back east, I think, maybe like Massachusetts or Maryland or someplace like that. But it's some university developed this like conflict resolution plan, and I think that we could do one lesson on completely on like conflict management, you know, and make that its own lesson. Because with Courtney and Mike, we have keeping the romance alive and conflict management as like 2 separate classes, but I mean as one class together, but I think we could probably still separate them and do it as 2 separate things and just add in more for Allie and Kellen.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I was thinking the 4 horsemen, and you know, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse from the Gottman book could work perfectly for the conflict management. And that's a lesson on its own. Like it's just got so much information. And for me, again, those things were so awesome for me, because I think the thing that I like most about Gottman is that he takes you wherever you are and kind of helps you learn how to work with another person and their thoughts and their feelings and where they're coming from. And that's just something that every couple can use. Every couple can be able to benefit from something like that.
I think so too. And even like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse thing, like I found myself, and I've noticed other people doing it, even when I'm in conflict with someone who's not my husband. Like I remember when I was reading that book, I was like, I'd be watching television and I'd see an argument on TV and I'm like, oh, there's defensiveness, you know, or oh, there's contempt. Like I would see it, you know, and like if I'll ever get into an argument with my stepmom or something, like, or with my sister, I'm like, oh man, like I'm doing one of the four horsemen, you know, like this argument's doomed. And so I feel like even those skills are important, even just beyond marriage, you know, like, I mean, this is not possible, but let's say that they never had a fight in their whole marriage, like those skills would be good beyond their marriage, you know, learning like what skills are good with conflict management. So that's one that we can do. And then we can do one on like love and romance probably.
Okay. So far, I just want to do a quick review. So we've got the prioritization, right? Where we'll be talking about like the love language and having a gospel-centered home. And then we've got the keeping love alive and like all the information with regards to that. And then we've got conflict management, which is mainly based, we will be talking about the Godwin book and the Four Horsemen. And then they also mentioned stress management, that they struggle with that as well.
Yes. So I think trying to think if we could even work in some of the social stuff like into maybe the prioritization lesson, like just trying to, because I think like you made a good point about like the enmeshment. I think like if they were to have a little more time for themselves, even like that might help them, I don't know, adjust to marriage, you know, and so yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
All right, so then we need to figure out how we're gonna split this up.
Okay, so with the prioritization, I was doing that for Courtney and Mike, so I don't mind doing it for this couple as well, because then I'll just do one lesson plan and just tweak it to apply to both of them.
Okay.
I'll just include socialization and things like that in it.
Okay. I had been doing the conflict management and keeping love alive for Mike and Courtney. Take those two and like split them up and, you know, add things to them to make them into 2 lessons instead of 1. Does that work for you?
That's perfect. Okay. And I'll do the stress management one.
Okay.
I used to teach at the MCC, and we had a little booklet and a couple of videos that talked about stress and how to manage stress and things like that. So that's definitely something that I would love to do and work with regards to that.
Well, that sounds good then. I think even like within the stress management, like maybe you could talk about like coping skills even, you know, and that might help them deal with this like transition, you know, just like emotional coping skills. I don't know what your pamphlets and things talk about, but that might even be a part of it already, but just an idea.
Yeah, no, I've definitely made a note of that so that I can remember to factor it into it.
All right, well, great. Okay, so we've got a plan.
Hey.
So how do we want to do the order of it, I guess?
I don't know. I suppose we can start with the prioritization and the love languages first.
Okay.
Again, just in a practical sense as well. If that lesson plan is approved, then we know that we can just go ahead with this one and don't have to worry about like waiting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good idea actually for even with Mike and Courtney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good plan. And I don't mind if we don't have to rotate every other too. Like we can do it however, you know.
Yeah.
Prioritization. And then maybe we could do conflict management after that.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
And then probably stress management would go well after that.
Okay.
And then the love and romance one.
So conflict management is number 2. This one is number 4. There you go. So prioritization, conflict management, stress management, and then the keeping the romance alive be the last one.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Well, that's good, and that's nice because we already have like so much of it. We'll be able to overlap, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing. All right. Well, so is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, just that I am gonna like type this up, but I have to go to work in about an hour from now. So you
Okay.
will only probably get it in your morning. Just a little, yeah, just so that you can be prepared with regards to that. I won't have time to like type it up and everything now, but I have made notes of everything. But yeah, probably tomorrow morning your time when you wake up, then you should be able to get it, and then you can just review it and yeah, you can make as many changes as you want. But I'll try to kind of a type of what's this word I'm looking for?
Like the format.
But a similar type of I guess, yeah, no. But I think you understand what I'm trying to say, like just so that they can match, so that they don't seem
Yeah.
like they're too different from each other. So like a yeah.
To keep the formatting the same.
Formatting, absolutely. That's exactly, yeah. Similar type of formatting. Yeah.
That sounds good. I think we just really needed to turn in one this week anyways. So, you know, don't feel like you have to rush. I think if you don't get it done this week, that's okay. Because I think we just needed to do the one couple this week. So we're like ahead of the game.
Oh, really? Oh, yay. Okay, awesome. Okay. So now we can just start working on the lesson plans as well, so that we can get that done.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to start planning the financial planning one. And then I'll probably start working on that maybe next week or over the weekend so that we can get that turned into her as soon as possible. And then we can schedule those sessions. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very, very excited as well. And to learn some things that I can continue using in my life.
Yeah, that too. It's true. Like that's what I love about this major is like I learn something new and it's like, well, I can use this in my own life, you know?
Yeah. Just a little bit of a side note. You draw beautifully. Like I saw the pictures on Facebook. It's so like amazing. Like, do you sell your art or do you just do it for yourself?
I just do it for myself. I just like to doodle. I don't know.
Yeah. That's not doodling. You can't call it that. But like, it's really like it's amazing. It's
Thank
so
you.
accurate. Like the detail and everything is really, really good. Like when you said you were
Thanks.
artistic, I thought you're creative, but like, yeah, you've got a real good talent there, so it's awesome.
Thank you. I like to do it when I'm at church or like listening to talks and stuff because I feel like it kind of helps me like not let my mind wander. I can just like, you know, draw because it's sort of mindless to draw, but then I can like listen and focus better on what they're saying too.
That's cool, especially during conference. If you're going to be sitting for 10 hours, then you need something to.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, like I said, I'm just gonna get ready for work, and then you can email if you need me to do anything. But yeah, I'll just be working on that intake summary just to get it done and know that we don't have to do it again.
All right, sounds good. Well, thanks for getting up extra early. Have a good day.
No worries. I get up this time anyway, so it
Oh.
works out perfectly for me.
Yeah, that is good. You're an early riser. Good for you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.